Hi, my name is Marissa. I'm the founder of Within Your Reach.
And my name's Mara. I am the founder of the Redefiners.
My father was a sexual predator.
He had already planned on doing what he was going to do, which was sexually assault me.
We are coming to you with ImAStatistic, and you've kind of seen some teasers that have been coming out recently. And today we decided to get together and kind of tell you a little bit about ImAStatistic, what it means to us, and why we're releasing footage, and why we're even recording the footage that we're releasing. So ImAStatistic is a hashtag, very similar to Me Too, but Marissa and I thought it was very appropriate to focus on healing and moving forward through sexual trauma, through awareness stories, networking, communities, etc. Both of our nonprofits are founded on that, but ImAStatistic was a meeting point in the middle for everyone that's been affected by sexual trauma to come in, share hashtag ImAStatistic, feel comfortable doing an interview, how they moved on, positive things that helped them move forward, and how they now interact with their communities after the fact.
He started molesting me when I was just about 4.
Since he was such a good friend of mine, I didn't really know what to do.
We've decided to do all of this in the month of April because April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And within this month, I think it's really important to highlight how often it happens, the different situations that take place where sexual assault could happen, bars and being drugged, relationships, things that are pretty commonly overlooked. We have both been affected by sexual trauma in our lives, which is what brought us to create our nonprofits and start ImAStatistic.
Yeah, so when I was 21, I was raped, and it was a relationship rape. And ironically, I didn't even know that existed at the time. I didn't know that was a thing. So some of the awareness that we bring to this is explanations, validation, right? You've been in a situation, it made you feel icky, uncomfortable, but you didn't even know that, for example, relationship rape was a thing. So it's bringing a big support network, and that was very helpful through my own situation, learning 5 years later that there was such a thing. And I was like, oh my God, I felt terrible for 5 years, and this was the worst encounter, and I had terrible dreams and super trauma. So there was a lot of trauma around it, and it was once there was a name to it, and other people had come forward after I came forward and said, me too, this happened to me too, and this is everything that I went through to get over it. I was like, great, there's a community here, there's people that understand, male and female, and what was important to me wasn't the fact that I needed to get over it. I just needed to be validated that it was something that was inappropriate.
I woke up from a nightmare of being chased by a man who was trying to rape me.
My rape was also when I was when in a relationship. It was when I was 19, and he was my first boyfriend, and this is actually how I lost my virginity. I didn't realize, like Mara, that you could be raped by a relationship, by a boyfriend. So I just kind of figured that that's what's supposed to happen, and well, you love him, so you're supposed to have sex with your boyfriend, and I let it go for way too long. And it wasn't until one day it came up like word vomit to my best friend while I was driving that I realized there was a real problem. And that talking about it really helped me move forward. And when I told her my story and what had happened to me, it made me feel a lot better. And so I started talking about it more and more, and that is how I found my healing space and how I found other survivors. And that allowed me to feel more comfortable in my skin. So I guess basically what we want to do is help other survivors who aren't quite there yet recognize that they're not alone, recognize that they have an entire network of people that they can relate to that can help. Our nonprofits and hundreds of others around the country, and other survivors who can relate to parts of their story, and you can find comfort in the fact that you have a million allies.
Yeah, ImAStatistic was an interesting name for us to choose, because it's almost we're trying to lighten up the situation a little bit, right? And Me Too is very light, and it's very like, yes, me too, you know, and bringing a light to a number of men and women that have suffered that probably a lot of people did not know. ImAStatistic is almost reversing the stigma to being a survivor and saying, yeah, I'm a statistic. I am part of this group, which reportedly, for those that have reported and felt comfortable to report it, is 72 million people strong statistically. So it's no longer this like stigma of, you know, oh wow, this has happened to me. We're trying to bring to light the amount of men and women this has happened to, and that being part of that community isn't necessarily, yes, it was traumatic and it should never have happened, but it also doesn't have to be something that anyone feels they need to hide behind, be ashamed of, anything in the negative sense.
I was raped by someone I knew.
We want to bring a positive connotation to being part of a statistic. Being part of a statistic is empowering. There's 1.5 million women in college this year that's projected to be sexually assaulted. And that number is terrifying. But if that 1.5 million girls stand up and say, this happened to me, that is so empowering to know that there are more people like you. And that's what we aim to do. We aim to change that.
And also with both of our nonprofits, it's very important to us that it's not just an awareness thing anymore. There are already nonprofits out there spreading awareness. That's amazing. We need more of that. Our nonprofits are very centered on what do we do next? How do we heal after the fact? How do we move on in a positive way? How do we change our mentality from victim to victor? And, you know, letting everyone know that 1.5 million statistically college students that are going through that, or the 72 million total men and women that have, you know, already gone through it, that if something wasn't working previously, we've got connections and networks and different healing methods to help move forward. Traditional methods may not work for some, and we want healing for all.
Every time I stopped crying, he said I would never cry again and I would never run away. And he beat me the entire night.
So this month, we are putting out teasers and also introducing some of our ImAStatistic speakers who have bravely explained their stories to us, and also how speaking about their stories help them heal.
Or other methods.
Or other methods that will help them heal. Some people utilize music, other people utilize reading, some people utilize fitness. And there's no wrong way to do it. There's only a right way for you. And that's all.
Yeah, great. And an important message on those videos, I think, that we've tried to ask every person, and just something to look out for when you watch those, if you choose to watch those. We ask a certain question, you know, the same questions to everyone, you know, to get certain answers. One of them is what she had already explained. There are different methods of healing. And the other one is positively how they're moving forward.
I had to fix myself first, and I didn't want them to experience anything of what I had experienced.
Everyone's journey is so different that we wanted to make sure that everyone watching knew that that was okay. That however much time you need to take to heal is also okay. You're not in competition with anyone. The methods that you're using are not in competition with anyone. You don't have to be an expert at anything to be healing. It's solely about what works for you in the timeline that works for you, and taking that time and recognizing that there is no one size fits all in healing. As every interview we've done, I think, has different stories of how they've healed and like different methods of how they've healed. And that was a big important part for us to bring to you, of like, find your way that works best for you, and don't feel like you've got to be okay with it tomorrow, a year later, or 2 years later. Just know that one day you will be okay with it, and you will be able to talk about it at your own time, your own pace, through your own methods. This is ImAStatistic. Hashtag it, love it, live it. Be proud that you're a community of 72 million strong currently, possibly more. If anyone is interested in doing an interview or sharing their story, we're happy to hear it. And we're very excited to be on the action side of sexual assault and trauma, helping men and women get through what they've experienced.
Yep.
Cool.